police have revived their investigation into the 1996 murder of famed rap artist Tupac Shakur. For nearly 3 decades, the death of Shakur has been unsolved, but on Monday, Las Vegas police executed a search warrant in the nearby city of Henderson in relation to the homicide investigation. Citing the ongoing investigation, a police spokesperson said he couldn't provide further details on the latest development in the case, including whether a suspect has been identified.
For those of you who are unaware, in 1996, the 25-year-old rapper was traveling in a black BMW driven by Death Row Records founder Marion Knight in a convo of about 10 cars when a white Cadillac with 4 men inside pulled alongside the BMW while it was stopped at a red light. One person opened fire, and Shakur was shot 4 times, rushed to a hospital where he then died some 6 days later.
The executed search warrant reportedly involves Dwayne Davis, 60 years old. Davis has spoken publicly about the night Tupac died on YouTube and in a book. Police searched the home for personal notes, photos, and other documents related to Tupac's death, a source with knowledge of the investigation says. Yeah, this is one of those that has become a focus of a kind of lore for several reasons. One, because of the infamous East Coast-West Coast feud that the various sparring between Biggie Smalls and Tupac generated, but also because Tupac was perceived to be not just an artistic figure, but a cultural figure who was doing a kind of positive rap that was critiquing systemic problems of American society with lines that have relevance to date. Jamal Bowman just earlier this week tweeted out that they got money for wars but can't feed the poor line, a reference to the contrast between our military budget and our domestic priorities or lack of domestic priorities. And many people felt like his assassination was a kind of a movement-ending moment in the same way that some people speak to the consequences of the Kennedys being killed or Fred Hampton being killed. I mean, not a direct comparison. Obviously, the man was very young and hadn't had the same level of political influence or even social influence, but it felt like a promising voice that was speaking in a very informed, articulate, moving way to issues that were germane to so many poor and working class Americans was snuffed out too soon.
If I recall, the notorious B.I.G. came under suspicion because of a feud with Tupac, but then he was also killed, I think, just a few months later. Yeah, and this homicide was never solved, despite there being multiple people obviously involved, because it was a drive-by. There were multiple people in the car that drove up, so multiple opportunities to find someone and have someone who knows something, know someone, flip on that person, get additional information. It has remained unsolved, to this day, 30 years later. So what do you make of them, doing additional investigation? I mean, we covered that other day, that serial killer case, where it turned out that one of the bodies had a hair on the body from the alleged perpetrator's wife. He just probably had it on his clothing or something. But the technology at the time, this is back in like 2010, didn't exist to do anything with the genetic material, but it has so advanced now that now they could. So it's a totally different case, obviously, but has me wondering if similarly there have been advances in science or forensic abilities that will make it possible to actually find a perpetrator. Yeah,
I mean, I do think that there has always been some skepticism about, why it is, given the public nature of the feuding and the number of people on the scene, that it seemed to be so difficult to find the perpetrator in both Biggie's killing and in Tupac's killing. This is one of those areas where there's a lot of conspiracy theorizing. One, because you do expect perhaps there to be more success in a high-profile case.
Success at finding the killer.
Success in finding the killer.
In a high-profile case that clearly had a number of, the more people, the more people involved in having some knowledge of what was going to go down, the likelier you are to eventually get at the truth. Right,
and then then the flip of that is, well, why if that's what we would expect, is it because there's police disinterest in it because of the nature of hip-hop and gangster rap and how it was being characterized, especially at the time?
And that's not really believable now, because someone would become very famous. It would be career-making to solve this case.
Or is it that, there's some delicacy about Tupac being a folk hero? Was it really, this kind of interpersonal gang-related violence? people do think that there were, other political motivations. Were people afraid of what Tupac was saying? What did he need to be silenced? I mean, these are the kind of conversations that go around him, the same way that there are those conversations around, Bobby Kennedy or JFK's assassination, and are they trying to keep us down? Are they trying to get rid of all the conscious hip hop artists? Are the record companies more interested in publishing a certain kind of rap that is more destructive to the interests of the community than something that's more uplifting like Tupac? I mean, these are the kind of conversations that get had because of the unsolved and continued mysterious nature of this case. So the timing of this, why that's coming up now, I am interested to see further reporting and if anything comes of this particular search. But it is interesting to view it in the cluster of these reopened file type questions. There's just more news about whether or not we're going to get more Kennedy file documentation, and if not, why not? There's so much sense that the government is hiding things from us. The UFO cases that are attracting so much interest right now, and it's hard for me not to see this as part and parcel of the public's concern that they're not being told everything
to be solved. I mean,
right.
Some people obviously don't accept the formal explanation for the JFK killing, but
certainly.
They do. They have from the government standpoint, they have the case solved. This case is unsolved. So many cases that are unsolved can, with additional innovations in DNA technology or someone coming forward. It sounds like this person of interest here, I'd hesitate to even say suspect, someone with knowledge of the case. It could have been bragging, someone overhears something, but of course that could lead to false positives, years and years later boasting about being more involved than you actually were.
Sure.
Or it could be admitting something after a long period of time. Really could be either way, but we don't really know. But it's interesting, so I guess we'll wait for more information on that. And tomorrow on Rising, we will be covering RFK Jr.'s Capitol Hill testimony on how his speech was censored online. Plus, of course, we'll bring you all the other big news of the day. Maybe go out for a Subway sandwich or two.
We have to make a statement, Robby.
Yes, we have to let Trump know we're hungry and it's lunchtime.
Be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss any content. And for those of you who like to listen while you're on the go, you're now available anywhere you listen to podcasts.
We will see you back here tomorrow, same rising time, same rising place. Thank you for tuning in. It's our pleasure. See you later.
Bye-bye.